the clock, turns the corner for the
win! Best Joel Embiid impersonation ever. Good morning. You all look wonderful. We're going to talk about some spicy pieces of gossip today. We're also going to talk about the salary cap. A bunch of you have been asking me what I'm talking about when it comes to expiring contracts, and what am I talking about in terms of saying we can go over the cap. And you're hockey fans, and you've asked me this question, so I know for basketball fans, I know some of you already know this stuff, but we're going to take a look at the salary cap and how it works in basketball because it's really interesting. And then we're going to frame that in terms of Kalo and Gary Trent Jr., the rest of the roster, who, of course, have championship swagger, which can take us to Larry number 2, has been my argument from the day I started my channel. I want to take a look at Spicy P in that same framework. And lastly, I want to toot my own horn. And I deserve to because my third episode ever, I know it says number 4, but I put this up before the analysis of Suggs and whatnot. The whole reason I got onto YouTube was because I thought we needed to talk more about Barnes and we needed to talk about Kalo's contract. So this is a thing on JJ Buck's channel when he did his Scottie Barnes analysis. I checked it out online. The earliest I can find is by the Work Report for anything Toronto media talking about Scottie Barnes. So he did a little analysis. Now he went on the record to say that, of course, he thought they'd still take Sugg, but that's the earliest I could find. And there were some really good Scottie Barnes videos by Amateur Hour, Raptors Digest, obviously JJ Buckets, and all these other ones. Anyway, let's get into the comments here because it's really fun. Pause it here, just read my whole comment. First sentence has to do with Mobley and why I wouldn't take him. I would pass on him and even take Barnes ahead of him. And the third part of the paragraph talks about Suggs and some things that I saw in his tape and interviews. And I dug pretty deep in them. So you can go back and watch episode 3 and 4 to see what I said back then. But let's take a look at this. Do you like Scottie over both Mobley or Suggs? Or does it depend on who's there at 4? And I said, I would almost be scared to find Mobley available to me. And I go on to explain that he's a gorgeous player, but Scottie's our guy, and Mobley doesn't fit our window. And we've created a window. I would have a hard time turning Mobley down, and yet I know Barnes is the right guy for the franchise. I truly believe Barnes is immediately earning minutes off the bench if we keep Kalo. Think of the disruption caused by all that unnatural arm length up and down our lineup, busting out boxes and triangles with everyone able to switch on anything. Makes me excited. I think I hit the mark.
Doug Smith from the Toronto Star.
This is Bobby the day after the draft.
Good morning, Bobby. How are you?
Good morning, Doug.
You did say yesterday that you didn't see any reason that you would jam up your roster, whichever position you chose, but you chose a forward over a guard where there was a decision to make. Can you sort of go into that that dynamic of the selection with between, say, Barnes and Suggs?
Yeah, that's what we said. We're going to take best available player. As we all see and we all know, the positionlessness of the NBA now. I don't think you can have too many these big two-way wings. So I think from a positional standpoint, we don't really see it as any overlap. We see it as let's have all 5 guys look like him and OG and Pascal and all of that.
Well, is that enough of me gloating, or should we go one step further? I will do one more. Remember that the top guy in the draft this year is Cade Cunningham. That's a tall guard. Ben Simmons, tall guard. These are the guys that are really pushing the envelope. And if we want to play small, we got to be able to contend with those guys. And last year, yes, we learned some hard lessons. We need some sort of center that can run in the pick and roll and blue collar it up in our own paint. But when we're able to jam the lanes with this length, it's so disruptive and we mitigate how much movement we require in defense. When I was looking at Barnes, I saw it as a perfect fit with the chasers running around, whether that's box and 1 or triangle and 2 or switching into man coverage. You're going to see the Raptors switching more and more into zone stuff. So the guys they're drafting are all experienced with zone, and that's the way it goes. So let's take a look at one more because a lot of you expressed concerns about his shooting. This is July 17th. I think this was on Amateur Hour Sports chat in the Barnes video that he did. And I just said, hey, don't worry about his shooting. We're going to be just fine. He's already come a long way in his first year at Florida State. I'm looking like an absolute genius because here's some more of Bobby's clips.
Next question goes to Ryan Wellstaff from the Toronto Sun.
Hey, Bobby. You obviously got a feel for him early as a person, but How much of the growth of his game has stood out to you, especially in the last little while, and even maybe seeing him in a workout as well?
Yeah, super important, right? It's the internal motivation to grow, internal motivation to get better. As you can, most people see from his physique, he's really gifted. He's big, he's strong, he's long, he's athletic. But there's a lot of those guys in the NBA, so you have to obviously learn how to dribble, learn how to shoot. So I think those are the things we've noticed as he's developed, is he's always kind of had a sense for the playmaking and to be able to handle the ball. But even this year in Florida State, I think you saw, while his percentages may not show it, he took threes, he made big shots. I think he had a game winner early in the year. So that continued growth and development is obviously what we saw, but we think will continue, once he gets with us. But I think the shooting has improved. Like I said, the playmaking and kind of knack and feel, I think, as we know, is a little bit more intuitive. And so that's always been there.
Yeah, so my video that I put up, which was posted July 9th, those that saw it complained that I did episode 4 before episode 3, where I analyzed the 5 top picks. The 5 top picks, right? The only 5 you could possibly choose picks. The thing is this, everyone got caught up on Suggs. And the reason they got caught up on Suggs is because every draft analyst was saying it had to be one of these 5 guys. And they all respect each other. But here's the difference between draft analysts and scouts that are employed by franchises. The franchise employed scouts don't just look for the top talent like the other guys do. Franchise scouts look for all the top talent under the frame of the team's system. So they are looking for the best player available for their team. And so next year, when we come around to analyze these things, guys, we need to look at it from the standpoint of what is the Raptors organization, what are they trying to build, and what can we expect from them in terms of... Hey guys, I apologize. My sound did something here, and you'll probably have to turn up your volume. Cheers. Enjoy. Going forward, what do they need to put on their roster to put out a good team? And don't forget, we've brought in 4 guys now, not 3. So, if you haven't seen NBA Chev video on David Johnson, comparing him to Suggs, this is my point exactly, is that Suggs is a great prospect, but we just went out and got 4 guys that can all handle the top guy in the draft. And yes, I know this is going to scare some of you. We're going to be playing some small ball, a lot of it this year. I still maintain we need a wide-shouldered, grinded up big, similar to Gillespie or Khem Birch, just blue-collar guys that can run pick and roll. You're going to see a lot more pick and roll this year. You're going to see a lot more Malachi. And as long as we're up in the standings, that's going to maintain itself. So that's how we keep our guys fresh for the playoffs, and that's how we beat these teams that buy into this crazy stuff where you get 3 superstars. These young guys, the last guy is Chimpagni, and we signed him as a free agent, and he is out of Pittsburgh. He's used to playing the zone, and he is a big hops guy who can get putbacks and get in there and mix it up, cause some problems for the opposing defense. And I think the goal here is to cause the opposing big to take some fouls and get them off the court, because when we play against bigs with small ball, we do what's called fronting them. So we get in front of them and they are inside the basket. But what we're going to be looking to do is cause ball pressure and cause the other team to choke it up to our disruptive length. So at all times, we're going to have like guys on the floor that can totally disrupt passing lanes, get steals, deflections, all that stuff with our length. And we're going to be mitigating how much we have to chase them by playing zone, intermingled with our man coverage. It's going to be great. But we still need some tools, the right tools for the job. We learned lessons last year. All right, let's talk about the salary cap in the NBA. All right, you can see I'm on to beers now. There was a lot of content there and good things to say about the roster and what we did in the draft. So I'm going to pause there. I'm going to set up and finish editing, and I'll put a link to the CBA stuff. So we'll create 2 videos out of 1 video so that you can take a break, take a breath, and prepare yourself for learning, if you don't already know about it, about the NBA soft cap and how that's going to be important in the next couple days to come as we enter free agency. Cheers. Dude, Kawhi, you're not even gonna say hi to me in my own house?
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
That's bullshit, Kawhi. Your laugh is
This
stupid.
is Chef's Kiss approved. Mwah!